there you go, Dean Smith happily fist bumping the officials and players as they leave with the 3 points here for Aston Villa at Ellen Road tonight. El Ghazi with the goal in the first half, the only goal to separate the teams. And on that didn't quite click for Leeds United, although they gave it the best that they could. Rafinha in particular creating some sparkling moments in the first half, mainly. Tyler Roberts there, substituted in the second half, making their way off now. Rafinha looking disappointed after, of course, the win here on Tuesday night against Southampton by 3-0, but couldn't just make it 2 in a week for Leeds United this week. Wherever you are watching, thanks for doing so. We'll go to Eddie Gray in a moment and Don Matteo get their thoughts, hopefully. Tony DeRigo up on the gantry as well. Just looking at the match stats, obviously the 1 goal. And really, well, not too much difference in terms of shots from the first half to the second. Not a huge amount of goal mouth incidents. Leeds just ahead on the corners and the yellow cards. And the possession as well with nearly 70%. But not able to make the breakthrough. That would have got us some points here tonight at Ellen Road. So, as the Premier League fixtures and results for this weekend, Man City earlier today coming from a goal behind against West Ham United to win 2-1. West Ham United away is the next trip for Leeds United. West Brom held on to an important win against Brighton and Hove Albion. It is getting a little bit spicy at the bottom of the table for those teams looking to escape relegation. Leeds looking nicely safe, sat in the top half of the table. Tonight, Newcastle United, speaking of teams winning points, they take on Wolverhampton Wanderers. And tomorrow it's Palace at home to Fulham. We've got Fulham coming up in a few games' time. Leicester at home to Arsenal. Spurs entertain Burnley. Man United travel to Chelsea, who we play here in a couple of weeks. Sheffield United at Bramall Lane against Liverpool. And the Saints, Southampton, travel to Goodison to take on Everton. That's the Monday night kickoff. Let's take a look at the top half of the table, and it's pretty much as you were for Leeds United, just played a game more. 35 points from 26 leaves us in 10th place at the moment. Aston Villa, they stay in 8th, but they are on the coattails of Everton and Liverpool. 39 points, and they continue their impressive season so far in the Premier League. But good to see Leeds in the top half, of course, newly promoted this season. So, the players doing the post-match interviews, giving their thoughts there. Let's get the thoughts of our guests today, because we have Don Matteo and Eddie Gray, who I believe can join us. So let's hopefully cross over to Eddie, who was watching the match with us as well. And of course, feel free to bring in your comments in the chat section to let us know what you thought as well. Eddie, still got the scarf on. It did get a little bit nippy towards the end there. It was a second half really that didn't quite just click for Leeds, did it?
No, we never really created a lot tonight. Final ball wasn't great tonight. Unusual for us. We usually create chances when we play a game. It just never happened tonight. I thought Villa made it difficult for us. I thought they worked extremely hard in the midfield area. Very rarely did they let us get to the back four. If we were going to get anything, it was going to be probably just a hopeful ball into the box, maybe get a little break tonight. It wasn't one of our better nights for them, considering how we've been playing. But you're going to get that in this league, and you've got to give the opposition credit. They set their stall out well tonight, and they worked extremely hard. And they'll be pleased with how they played. But for the Leeds United point of view, we couldn't really get away from the end of the night. The boys out wide never really got to the dead ball line a lot of the night. The balls that were coming into the box were coming in for a little bit deeper areas, which gave the defenders an opportunity. I thought Tyron Mings for them at the back was solid, and he was encouraging the people round about him. And I thought they worked hard, and probably to say they were their away side tonight, they deserved the result.
Don Matteo, who's with us as well. Eddie mentioned Tyrone Mings. Dom, as a defender yourself, you must have appreciated, albeit on the wrong side from our point of view, quite a commanding performance from Tyrone Mings there. And Leeds just couldn't find a way through, could they? Despite no fail of endeavour, just couldn't quite make a breakthrough.
Yeah, I think Eddie got it spot on what he said. I think that's the thing we've got to try and work out. Sometimes if things aren't going too well, maybe we have to go a little bit longer. I know they're strong at the back, not big lad. Mings is very physical. But sometimes, I think we're overplaying at times. And I think that's the thing because of the way we play, It's sometimes that everyone kind of works us out, and I think Villa worked us out today. And the way they matched us up and stuff, they were very well organised, and we've got to give their Villa a lot of credit. They defended very, very well. But I just thought again, that's another opportunity for Leeds to get some points on the table. Maybe I know we couldn't go too much ahead because of obviously Villa have got games in hand. But for me, I just think that's another opportunity to get a win and try and push forward. But all credit to Villa. They defended brilliantly. They did what they had to do. They did a good job. And when you win 1-0 away from home, it's always a decent result. So Dean Smith will be very, very pleased. And a little bit of work for Marcelo Bielsa to maybe work out what his best team is. Because I'm still not sure if he knows that. I know he's a very clever manager, but I'm still not sure, or even the team are actually sure what's the best formation. And I think we're going to find out. I know he mixes things up, but for me, I'm not sure myself what the best way of playing is for Leeds. But like you say, Bielsa, who am I to talk about Bielsa, because obviously he's a very clever and brilliant manager.
No, Dom, he's definitely watching this, waiting to see what your opinion is on the next lineup. I'm sure, Dom. No, let's cross to Tony DeRigo, giving you a little bit of a break, a bit of a breather on the gantry, Tony. Dom suggesting a bit of an opportunity miss, but it demonstrates again, doesn't it? It's not easy to string back-to-back wins together in the Premier League. Leeds have done it a couple of times this season, but it's not an easy thing to do, is it?
No, it's not, and also it's not easy to keep playing well for 90 minutes. Get week in, week out. We've come across some very good sides, and I thought here it was a missed opportunity. But Aston Villa, they came with a game plan. They got that early goal, which I think was always going to be very important. And after that, they defended well. They caught us on the break, or tried to at times, and we just couldn't really break them down. But we had a couple of half chances. First half, Tyler Roberts had that chance where Martinez makes an excellent save, and then right near the end, Rafinha has a chance. And at this sort of level, you need to take one of those. But we didn't play our best. We didn't really cause them too many problems. And I agree with the lads in that Tyrone Mings at the back was superb. He covered that left-hand channel as well. Anytime the target might have got beaten for pace by Costa or Harrison or Rafinha, he was always there. And they deserved, I suppose, to grind out a victory. But it was frustrating from us because it was a stop-start game. But they played to their strengths. I don't think we did.
Yeah, Dean Smith doing his post-match duties at the moment, and he'll be happy to take those 3 points in the same way that we took them from Villa Park, of course, earlier on in the season. But that game is done and dusted, and the next game will be away to West Ham. Chaps, we've got a few questions that have come in from the people watching with the watch party today. So if you're all right for us to throw a few your way, that'll be smashing. This one is to all of you, really, but we'll start maybe with Dom. Which is the question that's coming from Dave. Which member of the team have you been most impressed with to make the step up from the Championship to the Premier League?
I think probably Stewie Dallas and probably Ayling are the two that really stood out for me. They've really been outstanding most of the year and played most of the games as well, and never seemed to pick up injuries. I don't want to put the jinx on them, but they're very fit. They're all fit, but I think the consistency of them two lads has been excellent, and I don't think they get enough credit around football, because they have been brilliant for the last couple of years. Them two that I've mentioned, and I think there's more I could mention. There's some good young lads coming through as well, so we're in good hands under Bielsa, and we've got some consistent players, which we haven't had in the past. I think we're more of a team now, even though we didn't get the result tonight. We still play like a team. We keep going. We keep pulling away. I think tonight we were just missing that little bit of class. Usually Rafinha takes his chance, and we get a draw, or we sometimes nick a game. But tonight, that little bit of spark just wasn't there for me. Watching the game closely, which I always do, and you try and study it. I think the Rafinha chance was probably the best chance, and he probably should have done better. And even I think that just the overall, I think that Villa probably just deserved it because of the defensive performance, and they were a threat at times when they got the opportunities to break forward. El Ghazi was outstanding and deserved. I think he got man of the match. He was a real threat the whole way through the game, and it just shows you that at that level, that's what you've got to do week in, week out. And we're unfortunate tonight, but like the boys have always said, that In the Premier League, it's a different animal. And these guys get one chance, it's usually in the back of the net. And tonight we didn't take that, which is unusual for us. So we go again, as you've got to do in football, and start again. And another important game coming up soon.
Obviously, the step up from the players, they've all made that leap up, haven't they, from Championship to Premier League level. Are there any players that have really stood out for you that you thought, wow, they've managed to really take that step quite impressively?
I mean, I think the players in general have stepped up to the mark. They only need to look at the position they're in the league. I agree with Dom the night. We never really got it going the night. Patrick couldn't really get in the game the night, and the shackles of the centre halves on him. But in saying that, he never got much service the night either. And it just spread through the side the night. The passing wasn't as sharp as it's been. The movement wasn't just as good. But the players that have stepped up for the Championship, I mean, I agree with Dom. You look at Stuart Dallas, Luke Ayling, the skipper. They've played for the side for a long time now, and they've adapted very well to life in the Premier League. And that's why we're in the position we're in. The players have responded to the challenge that's been put in front of them, and they've improved. And you've got to give the manager, the coach, whatever you want to call him, Marcelo Bielsa, credit for that. Because, if you go back a few years, these players were just playing Championship football. And, there was, at that particular time, there was doubts even if they could play at the top end of the Championship, never mind the Premier League. So they've improved by leaps and bounds of players. And I think the Leeds United fans will be delighted, with the reaction of the players going into the Premier League, how they've approached games, the confidence they've shown them in their own ability and the ability of their teammates. And, I think that's a good thing for the club now. The club they're in a solid footing. The players respond to the coach responds to the team as well. So all in all, I think, even though it was a disappointing result tonight, everybody's got to be happy with how things are going.
Questions about fullbacks in particular. Obviously, you're a left-back in that league-winning side in 1992. Dan in New York wants to know the evolution of the fullbacks bombing on and overlapping like we see Ayling and Dallas and whoever's playing in those positions. Kind of different to your day, really. He says, why has that happened and where do you see it going next in terms of the fullback positions?
I certainly would have liked to have played in this era because it would have suited me down to the ground, getting forward. But you have to defend as well. But now I think every single player out on the pitch has to be an athlete. I remember when I first started, you'd come up against some fullbacks that certainly just stood there and defended. But now no one stands there and does get forward. And they're becoming instrumental because not only do they have to defend, they have to supply those crosses as well to produce goals. So, it is good to see. I think what we need to do, certainly looking at our fullbacks now, I think we might need one or so in the summer just to boost that squad because when you're looking at where we're going to finish up in the Premier League, it is so impressive, but it's an evolution. And of course, the aim of the club is to keep achieving, greater and higher things. So that will mean more quality players coming in. And I wouldn't be surprised if a fullback is one that just might come in.
Tony, just sticking on the fullback theme for a minute. Patrick in Tampa, Florida was asking, is there anything Stuart Dallas can't do? We've touched on Stuart Dallas's performances so far this season. Do you give him some tips when he plays left back? Says this question, Tony. I'm not sure whether you drop in any of the tips, but I guess in terms of a wider question, the importance of having a player who can play in different positions, especially under a team under Marcelo Bielsa, is really, really crucial to have those kind of players in your squad.
It certainly is. I think the attitude of Stuart Dallas is exemplary. I think he has been our player of the season so far. You look at Rafinha in the goals from Bamford, but I think what Stuart gives to the side is just incredible. And it's not only in one position; it's in 2 and 3 and 4 positions that he just gets on with it and plays, extremely well. He seems a really grounded person as well, and I'm delighted that he's, stepped up and just looked so comfortable. He's an impressive player, absolutely. And did I think he could play left back? Yeah, I could. Did I think he'd be as good as he is? No, I didn't. He's been a real revelation for me.
That was from Patrick Harrison, two good names to have at the moment if you're a Leeds United fan. Just finally, before we wrap up, Dom, I mentioned right at the start of today's watch-along that this week it's a 20-year anniversary since Leeds went to Anderlecht in that really crucial game in the Champions League, a run that you had such a big part of that took us to the semi-final of the Champions League 20 years ago. Just can you give us, I mean, this is from the game, but I think the opening goal, but can you just give us one memory, Dom, from that special time at Leeds United? It really was an incredible run, and that Champions League season in particular, and what it meant for you, the players, the team, and for everyone to make it so far in the key European competition.
Yeah, we just had a right good go. We're a bit of an unknown, weren't we, really, when we came into this tournament. Qualified the hard way. We played all the top teams around Europe, and it didn't faze us whatsoever. You know, Eddie will know that. Eddie was around us at that point and, you know, gave us really good advice all the way through that. He'd been and played at that level and knew all about us. And I generally think when I think about certain games, I think the Anderlecht game was probably one of our best performances I've been involved in Europe, because that we just done everything right. And I think Anderlecht at that point were a very, very strong side. They had lots of good players, and they were a threat. You know, they had Big Collar up front, who was a big handful. They had some other good players. I think Radrinsky, who went to Everton in the end, he played in that game as well. They had some quality players, and obviously Man United kept beating Anderlecht as well. If you remember that time as well, so that was always good for us. But I think in general, what we had is what the lads have now. We stuck together. There was no big timers around the group. We all knew our jobs. We all had to go. We all wanted to get better. We all wanted the best for Leeds United, and I think that's the most important thing. And when you're all on the same page, it didn't matter who played. We all just got on with it. You know, some of us were lucky to play most of them big games, and some weren't. But it didn't matter. We all stuck together, win or lose, as they say at times, and we just got on with it. Yes, there were some bleeding nights. I still think, and I still believe that we probably should have got to the final. You know, but. We met a really good time. We met a really good team in Valencia, and they deserved to get through. They had some brilliant players like Mendieta, etc. So yeah, it was a brilliant period for us all. Wish obviously we'd won it or got to the final, because that would have been amazing for the fans. But you know what? I look back with that with just proudness to have played for the shirt and played at the highest level, because that's what it's all about. And this is what these boys at Leeds United now are all trying to get to, is to play at the highest level, which is, for me, is the Champions League. That's the next step for everyone. We're a long way away from that at the minute, but I tell you what, keep doing what we're doing, and you never know what's around the corner. Keep believing the Leeds way, and under Bielsa, we've got a brilliant teacher, and let's keep going, and hopefully the good times will roll.
Absolutely. I like the fact you start with that, which is saying we just had a go. That was it. We just had a go. I think that's going to be the team talk from now on. Dom, absolutely fantastic. See you looking so well to have you here with us. Eddie, as always, absolute legend of the club, and brilliant to speak to you as well. Tony, you look cold now. We'll release you into the warmth of the West Stand. Thank you all for joining us, guys. Really appreciate it. There you go, Dominic Matteo, Eddie Gray, and Tony DeRigo giving their thoughts. Well, look, we hope you've enjoyed it. It's been really great having you there. Thanks for all your comments and your questions that you've thrown our way as well. It's good to see you all. It's good to be connected to you, even if you are over the pond, over there in the Americas, and we hope you've enjoyed the show today. Not quite the result we were after, but we go again next week against Fulham. From everyone here at Leeds United, enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers for tuning in.